Yep. So I think we can wait for a bit more for a few people to join in. For those of you that are already tuned in live, I'm Alex, and this is Lee. We have Lee all the way from Ireland, who's going to be representing Co-Institute and sharing with us more. But in the meantime, if you haven't gotten your dinner, please do get something to eat. It's going to be an exciting, at least a 1 hour, where we will be covering quite a number of things. So yeah, I'll just wait a few more minutes for a few more people. Yeah. In the meantime, also, if you guys see on your right hand side, there is a chat that is enabled that you guys can check out, um, and also ask us questions later on if you do have any.
Yeah, from our perspective, you guys have chosen to join us here this evening, and the value in this session is for you guys to get the information you need about software development. So myself and Alex will be talking away, and about whatever's on the slides. But any questions that pop into your head, by all means, write them down so that you don't forget them. We will address as many of them as we can. And I know Alex and his team will be following up with all of you guys individually, and they'll have a record of the questions. So anything you ask, you will get an answer.
Yep, that's right. There will be other things also that will be given to you also after this webinar. So yeah, just stay tuned for that as well. Okay, I think we have a bit more people, but I think we are good to go.
As do
Yeah,
I.
yeah. Okay. So thank you all for joining us tonight at this open webinar. Like I said, I'm Alex. I will be representing Trent Global College, and over there, all the way from Ireland, you could see the sun over at the other side. Is Lee. So let's get straight into things. So tonight we're going to talk about a lot more on software development and what it is. We'll also be taking you through like the job outlook and the situation that the whole world is facing to do with disruption and the rise of technology. After that, we'll be looking at graduate case studies from the bootcamp, how the bootcamp has enabled people to get really good jobs in really good companies. Finally, you guys will learn more about the course details, and then after that, it's a Q&A. So more about Trend Global. We're a education institute that primarily focuses on building technology, or we used to, and then now we're offering boot camps. We're working with Co-Institute to offer full stack boot camps. Um, so for Lee, um, what do you maybe you want to introduce Co-Institute and what you guys do?
For sure. Thank you very much, Alex. So hello, everyone. Delighted to join you all here to tell you a little bit more about the partnership that we built with Trent, but also about what we do at Code Institute. We will talk about the digital skills crisis in a lot more detail. And that was really the origin of Code Institute as a company. Technology has transformed business completely over the course of the last 20 years. You just have to look at the impact of the internet and changing technologies, mobile, improved communications, even just the way that we're having this session right now. This was unheard of about 20 years ago. So all of this change has presented great things for businesses, but also challenges for business. And one of the biggest changes that has happened with all of the transformation is a whole load of new jobs that people never really had heard of before. You have cybersecurity, you have data analytics, you have digital marketing, all of these exciting new jobs. But regardless of all of these new jobs, the area of most need at the very, very top, because of the fact that everything is changing, look at the car industry, look at all of the Teslas and the amount of code that's required for them. Coders remain the most in-demand skill. And companies just simply can't hire the talent. There isn't enough talent. Universities aren't producing graduates quickly enough. And it's really presented a massive headache So at Code Institute, we thought to ourselves a few years ago, how do we make it really, really efficient and easy for somebody to become a software developer? And we decided to build a course that would do that, that focused on the skill rather than the theory. And on this slide, you can see the things that we developed in order to achieve this. Right at the middle is career focus. That really was the end point. We're thinking, we want people to do this course and to walk out and walk into a career. In order to solve this problem, we started at the end. And you see on the second tile there, industry-led. We started by talking to large organizations and small organizations about what they needed. Ask them a simple question. If you're hiring a developer, what are the key skills and technologies they need to know? We built our course around those exact requirements. That means that the skills you learn on our program are ones that employers are actively seeking. The second thing that we did was we were thinking, okay, so we teach them a whole bunch of skills that employers are looking for. But when they go to look for a job, what is the process of finding a job going to be like? Sadly, for a lot of graduates, their CV and their portfolio won't be with the technical guy in the organization they apply to. Often it will be with the recruitment agent. And the recruiter, they don't know how to look at your code and say, that's good code. They have a simple criteria in place. Does this person have a certificate that attests to the skills they say they have? Where our program is very different to a lot of other courses out there and bootcamp style courses is that our certification is university level. We partner with the University of Edinburgh, and our award is a diploma in software development that is internationally recognized. That means that when you're looking for a job, the recruiter can have confidence in your skills. But in a second sense, for you as a learner, you know that what we teach is academically sound and credible. And the last thing, one of the lovely things about learning with us is how practical it is. You're continuously building things. There are no exams, there's no emphasis on theory. You build things, you build projects that make up a portfolio. And the really cool thing is these portfolios that our students build, they don't just show off skills, they show off personality. Some of the previous graduates' work, I love looking through it. We had one graduate and he made his data project so personal. He suffered from diabetes. He started capturing data from his insulin reader, put it into a visual graph, and then he was able to examine that over time and identify patterns in his own behavior that affected his condition. That shows you how personal you can make the project. And through all of these things, through the fact that we teach materials that are in demand, through the fact that we give you a certificate, through the fact that you produce something that represents you, that means that when it comes to looking for a job with the materials taught by Code Institute, you stand a great chance of getting that job.
Yeah, that's really true. So our first batch is already on the way, and I can really attest to what Lee is saying about how personalized their websites, their portfolio, their things that they are making is really personalized. So I know like one of them is doing like a pet shop, the other one is doing a car park kind of system where it enables you to find like the cheapest car park in the vicinity of your area. So that's like pretty cool stuff that our current cohort of students are doing. And so just to reaffirm what Lee was saying, as you see nowadays, there's disruption that's happening all around. 10 years ago, there wasn't the likes of Grab and Uber, and there's always going to be more of these startups, more of these apps that are coming up. And this means there is that need for tech talent. So not only here in Singapore, not only here in Ireland, but all over the world. And like what Lee was saying, the orange portion of this graph shows just how many computer science graduates there will be in 2020, and it shows the gray area, how many unfulfilled computer jobs there are outside as well. So if you just look at Singapore alone, these stats were given to me by IMDA. The survey was conducted in 2017. If you look at the big blue portion, 43%, that's about 87,000 jobs out there just to do with IT development, just to do with the software development course that will enable you to get such jobs. So this include like being a software manager. This includes being a full stack developer as well. Um, and if you're looking at the pay scale wise, for a starting com science graduate, it's about $4,000 a month. So of course, going through a boot camp, you're not going to be able to get about 4,000, but it's going to be somewhere pretty close. That's about 3K a month as well, and that's what we're hearing also from SME startups and recruiters. So these are the salary ranges that you can expect from other countries. And the reason why we're showing you the pay scales from different countries is because one good thing about when you learn coding, when you learn a programming language, it's an international language. You can take that skill and go to Australia, Sweden, and you can find work there. So I think Lee has a few examples where people from Ireland, they've learned they you had an American, right, at the boot camp when I went over there in Ireland.
Yeah, we actually had an American student, Colleen, that came. In fact, we've actually had several Americans, and we have students from all over Europe that have come to study with us. I think it's a really important point that you've just raised there, Alex. So one of the first things that people think about, because of the global demand, because there's such shortages, obviously the world over, the money is good. But when I talk to people who have done our course, what they really value about it and what they value in software development, often that second point is key, the freedom. With software development, it is a universal language. You can travel anywhere. You can almost find work anywhere, even if you aren't proficient in the local language. And another thing that's really cool about it is there's meaning with it. You're building things. You're building things that have real impact. If you're passionate
Yep.
about healthcare, if you're passionate about education, you will find a job in that sector. Or it may even be a case that you have an idea, like you've just mentioned some of the really cool ideas that the students are building at the moment in the Trent Bootcamp. It could be a case that you have an idea in your head and you want the skills to build it. This will give you the ability to at least put together that idea, maybe in its full formation, but it may give you the basis with which to build it with other people. So software development, yes, the money's good, but it gives freedom and there's a lot of meaning as well. And those second two things can often get overlooked at the beginning when talking about the appeal.
Yep, that's really true. I think also in terms of meaning, in terms of the status and the job opportunities that come with a new skill. So these were some of the success stories from the bootcamp over at Ireland. So Lee, maybe you wanted to share just a bit more about
Absolutely.
these two.
So yeah, Catherine, a lady from Stuttgart. I actually, like, it's funny, myself and Catherine have actually built a very good relationship. We would be friends. Catherine, I actually joined Code Institute after Catherine had graduated. Catherine was previously a business analyst. She's now working as a software developer and solution engineer with Salesforce. And in her role, she is married, and this is one of the other things for people that have previous experience. You will learn how to become a software developer, but you may have previous knowledge that you can marry with the software development skills to create really interesting career paths. So Catherine is solution engineer with Salesforce. She has a business focus and she has an engineering focus where she goes out and she consults with organizations about the way that they want the whole Salesforce app suite to work for their organization. With her skills, she's able to do really, really cool mock-ups. She builds the mock-ups and then she presents the ideas to the companies and then the companies can buy into it. And that's incredibly sophisticated. Catherine had zero experience walking in. That's one of the really important things. The exact same for Adrian. Adrian, absolutely. Adrian is an absolute gentleman. I've met him many, many times. He previously worked in hospitality and I'm not surprised that gentlemanliness comes across. He is incredibly good with people, a wonderful communicator, and he worked for hotels and restaurants, but has since become a really, really, really polished software engineer, but he presents incredibly well. So we at Code Institute, we really like that. Adrian comes along to our events and talks about his experience learning with us and the positive impact that it has had on him. His success in Accenture, he was a very early graduate of ours. has paved a path for so many other people that have graduated. And these organizations, they know us, they know our brand, and they hire our graduates.
Yeah, so I think one of the key reasons is also because Accenture had a big part in coming up with the curriculum uh, for the bootcamp. Is that right, Lee?
Yep, that goes back to the advisory council that I mentioned at the very beginning. So our advisory council, just to give you a few of the names, Salesforce have recently joined, but Alex, well spotted. Accenture were there almost from the beginning. So organizations that were there from the beginning: Accenture, PayPal, MasterCard, GlaxoSmithKline Beecham, and then a couple of smaller organizations that you may not have heard of, Jobio and Forrest. They're Irish success stories.
Mm.
The reason that we asked companies, so you're thinking pharmaceuticals, financial payments, consultancy. Forrest actually run beauty salons, technology for beauty salons,
Okay.
and Jobio, as the name suggests, is a job hunting website. So we went to
Okay.
a wide variety of sectors and to companies both big and small, because the idea
Yeah.
that we want with our course is we want to get consensus. We want to get a good, strong picture as to what everybody wants and then teach that material. But yeah, spot on. Accenture helped us with the building of the curriculum. And obviously, Adrian, it was one of our first success stories as a graduate with them.
Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. So what we're gonna happen next is probably we're gonna touch on about what they've learned, the success stories. So what exactly is full stack? I think for those of you that don't know, maybe Lee, if you just want to take us through what exactly is full stack.
Yeah, so full stack. If you were to look at any industry papers at the minute for the most in-demand jobs in the world, I would strongly wager that full stack developers would consistently come out at the very, very top. There's a very good reason for that. Full stack development is all of the best principles of modern development, and full stack
Mm.
developers are experts in all aspects of it. And that's why they're in such big demand. You think about startups crave full stack developers because they need people that can do almost everything. And the startup industry is huge the world over, but equally big companies treasure them as well. So we teach full stack development, and full stack essentially is front end, which is what you see in any application. It is the design, it is how you navigate an application, it is the way that it looks, it is the color scheme. It really is everything that you see. Back end, very simply then, is everything underneath what you see. It is all of the rules, all of the algorithms, and all of the logic. Full stack is is the manipulation of the database. So a full stack developer is an expert in designing a beautiful front end, a really robust back end, but then what they can do is they can link in and supercharge the application with things like payment systems
Mhm.
and booking systems that integrate with your database and make it truly powerful. So if you think about things like PayPal, Stripe, or any reservation system, the app would be really useful. But if you can't actually purchase something or make a command of it, it isn't really all that useful in and of itself. So here at Code Institute, we teach full stack because we want our graduates to have experience of all aspects. And what we find is that the people that take the course, they tend to work out as they go through the course where their own passion lies. Some people say, I'm going to be a front end guy. Other people say, I'm going to be a back end guy. And then others again say, I love everything. I'm going to be a full stack developer.
Mm. So, meaning to say also that some of you may have heard of terminologies such as UX, UI, and data scientists, data analytics. So, can maybe one question is, for Lee, let's say if I wanted to be a data scientist, would this course, help me? Would I learn some practical languages that would help me to be a data scientist?
You absolutely would. So the backbone of our backend is Python. And one of the reasons we often get asked this because if you look at jobs in the job market for backend developers, there's loads of technologies that you can use. .NET, Ruby, Java, Python, they're all completely valid. We chose Python because it opens up more job opportunities for our graduates. Python is a multi-purpose language. It's great for beginners because it's easy to learn and flexible with its rules. It's fantastic as a robust backend. But within the world of data science, it has become as popular as R. And R is the language that dominated data science for such a long time. But Python has become as popular as it. So for somebody that wants to go down the data road, what I would suggest to them is, in doing our course, when you get to the data aspect of it, work with Python, work with the data, and if it's something that really appeals to you, you can build on that. Unless you have some statistical or mathematical knowledge in your locker, you won't walk into a data science job. But what you can do on this course is you can test that stuff out, work out if you like it. Python will be the tool that you use, but you will need statistical and mathematical knowledge to go into the area of data and analytics. But that's something that you can marry with this course in order to pursue that profession further down the road.
That's right. So actually, one of our current students in our cohort, that's happened in Jan. So he's from an insurance background. So being a finance kind of guy, this is something that he's passionate about. He has a base degree in finance, which teach him, everything to do with statistics. And now with the Python that he's learning now, he's gonna head into that fintech area. So in Singapore, there's a lot of you out there who have finance degrees. So marrying it, like what Lee says, can give you that extra edge. So these are some of the things that you'll be learning within the course as well. So these include like front-end development, full stack frameworks with Django. Maybe Lee, you just want to take us through like what all this jargon could mean.
Absolutely, Alex. So I mentioned before, you don't need to know. You don't need any previous experience with coding. All you need, to my mind, the two key ingredients are: do I enjoy problem solving, and have I got tenacity and commitment? Because it is a challenging course, and while it looks small here in these 6 tiles, there's a lot of learning, an awful lot of learning. So we start with the fundamentals, which we teach you the building blocks of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then Python. Then we move into the 2 key areas of front-end development, which is user-centric front-end development, where we expand on the rules of HTML and CSS along with Git and a few other technologies before moving into interactive front-end development, where JavaScript is introduced. The idea with these first 2 modules is firstly to get you to build your first fully functional website, and then for you to enrich that and make it really interactive with JavaScript. The output for all of these modules is a key project, and in each of these tiles there's a piece of graphic. You can see in that first one, Fiona Apple. That is a musician's website where they can showcase their work and take bookings. The next one in interactive front-end development is a really, really cool tool that a student developed, where they can select any city in the world and they can select specific activities and identify what activities are going on. So it's almost like a what's happening now, or a what's hot New York, or a what's hot Mexico City. And very early, students are able to build really powerful tools like this. Then we move into back-end development, where we introduce Python. And Python is all about developing the ability to work with algorithms and work with rule sets. Then we introduce databases, and we teach the 2 key languages of database development, which are MySQL and MongoDB, that enable you to build your databases and query databases effectively. Practical Python and data-centric development now lead to one big project rather than 2 distinct projects. And then finally, we have full stack frameworks with Django. Django is actually a framework of the Python language. And in the full stack frameworks, you will create your final project, and your final project will show off the sum total of everything that you've learned, everything of all of the principles of design, all of the principles of rules and algorithms, all of the principles of databases and database management. And the actual link that's embedded there, I would encourage you all to go to our projects sample page and look at that. That website, Gorgeous, is an absolutely superb example of what students can create. It's professional. It is something that a commercial entity would pay for, and it was built by an actual student. Beautifully designed, great to navigate. very, very easy and intuitive to use. And whenever you start placing orders and working with it, you can see how well the database knowledge works as well. And in a very, very short period of time, students are building work that is professional, that people will pay for.
Yep. So definitely after this webinar, we'll be passing you guys the link to see all these projects, and also there will be a soft copy given to you about the brochure as well. So under the brochure, you can really see like the exact languages that you'll be learning and the learning outcomes also of what this language will enable you to do. Um, so this is the learning management system that we'll be using. For some of you, you have already had access to our 5-day coding challenge. This 5-day coding challenge would give you a taste of how we, teach coding. Lead, is there anything else you want to add to like what's so unique about this learning management system that we
Yeah,
use?
I definitely will add, Alex, because we're at Code Institute, we're very proud of the effort we put into this. We believe in micro learning, bite-sized learning. We never want to overwhelm our students. When we designed this learning management system, we believe that learning management systems should always let a learner know what they've done and what they need to do next. So it should be easy to navigate. So when you log in within 2 clicks, you'll be brought back to exactly where you were. On the right-hand side, you can see the knowledge element. Again, clarity is key. Anytime we introduce a new idea, there's 3 questions. What is this? What does it do? How do I use it? And that happens for every new idea. You can see those 3 tiles at the top. With those 3 questions and with short answers to those 3 questions, that means that no idea is so complex that you cannot understand it within a couple of sentences. Once we go below that, you can see the video with Neil's face. Neil's one of our teachers. We then go through the idea in more depth over the course of 5 or 6 minutes. We take you through the full meaning of that concept, and we also walk you through some of the functionality and commands that you can use with the languages that we'd seen on the previous screen. And then once you've absorbed that, we then task you with putting it into practice. And when you put it into practice, you begin to cement the knowledge. And we just nudge you through the course, gently introducing idea after idea after idea, and just building upon the knowledge bit by bit, never overwhelming you, and always encouraging more practice than theory and learning, so that you truly become fluent in a very easy way.
Yeah. So this is not to say that it supersedes the classroom learning as well. We're just showcasing you that our learning management system is very comprehensive, in the sense that after the classroom, there is content, there is video, there is challenges that you can take home. And for those of you that really want to stretch yourself, there is enough content in there to give you a very robust learning with us. So why this course? So we're just going to recap the key aspects of why you should choose this course. Lee, for yourself, which one do you think is the number one?
The number one thing I always say is the portfolio. The portfolio is ultimately, like, when you get right down to it, and this is the thing that IAC give us the skills. They do all work together, but ultimately the portfolio is what we talk to the IAC about an awful lot. The portfolio is when you're sitting in the interview, you can bluff your way as far as the interview. But when you get to the interview and they start asking you about your skills, what you've built, how you've built it, your portfolio is what will be your experience. Your portfolio will show off your skills, and it will be what you can stand over and talk about whenever you're talking to the employer. So the portfolio is absolutely key. But in order to build a portfolio, you need to have knowledge of code. We make sure that you're teaching skills that are in demand. Like, that's important. I will stress that. It is important that we teach skills that are heavily in demand. But you may apply for a job with a company that use a different technology. I think I mentioned it earlier. Don't let the fact that you don't know a technology deter you. You should be able to apply for anything, because on graduation, you will have enough knowledge and enough confidence to pick up new technologies with ease. And software developers do it all the time. That's why the portfolio for me is above learned skills that employers are looking for right now. University credit rating is absolutely great, and it will help you in the job hunt, but you can still get you could get to the interview with just the diploma, but without the knowledge and without the knowledge and the portfolio, you'd have absolutely
Yeah.
nothing to talk about to the tech guys. And of course, I'm not going to knock the support that's in place with the teacher and the classroom and the additional supports provided by us here at Code Institute, but the portfolio is you. So for me, that's the important one.
Yeah. I just want to re-emphasize what Lee was saying about the ability to relearn new languages. So this course, in a sense, you're going to be practicing for hours and hours and hours. And just think of it like David Beckham. How did David Beckham be so good in taking a free kick? He practiced for hours and hours and hours. So even though the languages that you'll be learning is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Python, the ability to learn and relearn, that is something that all graduates will take away as well. And so when you go into a job that requires you to know Java or to know uh, maybe like Ruby on Rails, the grammar and the way, the logic and the reasoning, the way that code is being structured, these are things that you can learn again. And that's we had a session about 2 days ago with industry experts over here in Singapore. That was the main key takeaway. They wanted the audience to know as a software developer, to really be able to pick up skills. And so going into the course itself, this is the introduction of the full stack bootcamp. We do have a full-time program. We are coming up with a part-time one as also, but we're just going to touch on about the full-time one. That's going to be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to be for 4 months, 640 hours. This is why we are able to present our graduates with a diploma at the end of the day, because of the number of hours that you will be practicing coding in fact. For the part-time program, if those of you who are interested, this one I can touch on with you guys later on, but I fully recommend the full-time one because of just the sheer amount of practice that you will be getting. So the intake, the next intake that we have is on the 20th of May. This one, I'll be letting you guys know more details also over the phone as people start to call you about your interests. Entry requirements wise, math is very important because of the logic and reasoning as well. The best part also about this full-time course is that the government, IMDA, is very supportive. Singaporeans and PRs, you guys enjoy a 70% subsidy by our government. So the total price, the original total price of this program is 11,500, but because of our kind Singaporean government, you guys are only going to be paying 3,450. So this is something that you can take advantage of as well. For our course instructor, it's Kun Singh, or Paul as we like to know him and call him as. So he has about like 10 years of experience in full stack development. He's somebody that has experience in startups and SMEs as well. He's also a young lecturer at Ngee Poly before we got him over to us as well. So he's somebody that's very passionate about programming. So that enthusiasm really flows off into our students as well. In terms of our board of advisors here in Singapore, we do have Mr. Christopher Yeo. He's a founder and CEO. So some of the projects that he's working on has to do with A-Star, has to do with AI and machine learning. So in terms of being a visionary in the tech industry, he's somebody out there. So you can go look him up on LinkedIn to check out his portfolio. He's definitely one of the visionaries in Singapore when it comes to the tech scene. So he's advising us on where way should go, and also giving his input and feedback in terms of the portfolio that you will be producing. Eugene is a startup co-founder. So he's more into startup scenes and really understanding what the startup industry in Singapore looks out for in terms of your portfolios. So these are just two of the board advisors that we have. Um, we do have other people as well, like Timothy. Timothy is from ex Ubisoft and he's currently at DBS. So these are the kind of faces that you'll be meeting in the course as well, that will be giving you mock technical interviews and things like that as we prepare you for actual interviews, as we prepare you for the industry. So going back, this 4 months program, about 2 weeks will be dedicated to helping you polish up your CV, polishing up your LinkedIn profiles, so that you guys will be able to really present yourself to employers in a very good light. This also means giving you mock technical tests as well. That's going to be one aspect that uh, companies and hirers will be looking out for to test your skill on the spot. Um, Also, another thing that we do for our students is that we'll be holding reverse career fairs. So, what is a reverse career fair? Basically, instead of you going to a career fair where there'll be a lot of companies at the career fair, we are going to invite companies to our college. So meaning that, just imagine with me that in a classroom there's about like maybe 20 of you, and you all have your laptops up, and they'll be presenting your portfolio, and these companies, these key stakeholders and hirers, and from the startups or from SMEs or MNCs, they'll be coming about looking at your portfolio, looking at what you have done, able to interact with you and really ask you, why did you choose to code this way? Why did you choose to come up with this passion project? So it's a lot more interactive. One good thing is that we are strategically located, only one MRT stop away from Block 71. And as you guys know, Block 71 is the tech hub of Singapore, where most startups are incubated at. So the likes of Dyson also will be coming in really soon. So these are some of the companies that you can expect. On our list right now, these are some of the companies that have signed up for the career fair. Um, VR Collab is a startup that's specifically looking at 3D VR modeling for the building industry. So there's quite a lot of unique startups that we're working with who are interested in hiring good talent out there. As for Gobbler, some of you might know that this is the social arm for Comfort Taxi, one of the biggest taxi groups in Singapore. They're also the media arm or a subsidiary of Move Media in Singapore as well. So those are some of the bigger names that are coming in. We also do networking events for our students. So this was a very recent networking event that's happened about 2 days ago at the Hive. So during these networking events, you can meet like-minded people. You can meet um, industry professionals as well, who are looking, for talent out there. So if you see over there on the top left-hand picture, there's actually a man in a yellow polo tee. So he's Michael. So Michael is the founder of Engineers SG. Engineers SG is a group for software developers here in Singapore. He's currently working for SP Group, and he's one of the principal developers. So as more networking events happen with Engineers SG, you're going to be meeting a lot of software developers from different fields in Singapore, and that means the opportunity to network and get jobs increases even more. So like what I said, we are strategically located at Kent. That's just one MRT stop away from the tech hub. So yeah, feel free to come down and look at our classes and talk to us as well. Uh, just wondering if any of you had questions or anything that you wanted to clarify. You can just type it in the chat. and then we can just help answer them. But on that note, one typical question that we do get from people is that because there are only so many boot camps out there. Um, so Lee, what would you say um, is, as in if compared to General Assembly, what is something that we do differently, or what is something that we do offer differently from General Assembly?
Yeah, so the industry certification is an absolutely is one of the areas that we are absolutely unique. I work with partners in North America, and bootcamp culture is all the rage in North America. It's just taking off in Europe, but it's an area where we are very, very unique. We have gone to the effort of getting a diploma awarded for this course. So the diploma is fantastic because it's internationally recognized. That means that as a graduate, you can bring it anywhere in the world. It means that when you're going through the job hunt, it means that recruiters will acknowledge it and respect it. But if you want to pursue further academic endeavors or pursuits, this diploma will stand to you. It has ECTS credits, which are a standard within Europe. They can be translated to North America, they can be translated to Australia, to Singapore, to Canada. So it's an internationally recognized diploma. It'll get you, it will help you academically or professionally. And that is one area where we are absolutely and truly unique from almost every other competitor.
That's right. So currently in Singapore, we are the only bootcamp that gives you a diploma. No other bootcamp in Singapore does that. So I think in Singapore we're a bit more traditional and conservative. So definitely like what Lee says, when even getting through the first stage of the interview, the hirers will definitely look at your degree or your diploma, and having a base degree in a certain field and having a diploma that certifies your IT skills, that is something that really stands out from other boot camps out there. Another common question that we do get from participants also is that for career changes, especially let's say somebody who's 30 and thinking of a career change, um, is that something that will take them back a step by going through this boot camp?
Not at all. We talked about the lady that's working for Salesforce earlier. We see it all the time. In fact, the vast majority of students that we've seen, they tend to be 25 to 35. They can be older than that again. Age should not be a factor. We have several students that work for a Dutch bank, and banking is an area that has been hugely affected by this digital transformation. A lot of banking procedures are becoming automated, and people that work for the banks for years, quite sadly, the roles that they are in won't exist in a few years' time. But thankfully, the banks are able to retrain them and reskill them. So they say, okay, well, we really need developers. So we have people that have worked for banks, they've been in their 40s, they've done our course, 3 months later, walk out the other side, they're ready to do another job, possibly in the bank or possibly for another organization somewhere else. So age is never ever a factor for us, and nor should it be.
Yeah. So actually, for our cohort, none of them are fresh graduates. All of them have at least 5 years of working experience, and they're doing an industry switch. So this means that they have a base degree in, could be finance, could be logistics, and then they're making the switch to tech. So in that sense, when we speak to tech startups and recruiters as well, and SMEs, um, generally you see that people are becoming more open to hiring people with a domain knowledge, and then they're switching over. So in terms of like DBS as well, you guys know that they're holding hackathons. So DBS is a local bank in Singapore, Lee. They're holding hackathons, yeah, just to hire tech talent out there. So we do see companies coming out with new ideas
Yeah.
of hiring talent. So there's another company that I'm in quite good terms with as well. It's called Tiger. You guys can Google it. So Tiger is a AI company in Singapore that the government has heavily funded and invested in. So when I talked to the HR person, Clarissa, she was saying also they're really open to finding talent from all over the different places. So they don't mind, somebody who's like 40 and thinking of a career switch, as long as that there's the talent there, there's the logic and the reasoning and the ability to relearn, like what you were saying previously, Lee, then they're more than willing to hire that person.
I
Yeah.
think I think you raised an interesting point there. So we've seen we have seen loads of different types. So you mentioned the career changer, and we see a lot of people that want to change career. But we at Code Institute we've identified, we've looked at our students, and there's loads of people that do it for all kinds of different reasons. The American girl, for instance, she wanted to find the intersection of art and technology. She was an artist. That was her idea. But
Okay.
generally they tend to be career changers. Then they tend to be what we call career upgraders, and this is an interesting one. So you'll have somebody
Yeah.
that may be working in a job like the Dutch guy I just mentioned. Maybe his job is not in danger now. Maybe it will become in danger, or
Yeah.
maybe these skills will help them in their job as a project manager or some kind of a role like that, and will improve their earning potential. So as
Mm.
sometimes people pick these skills up as a secondary skill because they know it will open doors or it will open earning potential now. And then lastly, we have the entrepreneurs. We have people that think, I've got this really cool idea. I want to bring it to the world. And they want to know how to build it, or they want to know how to hire the right people for the job of building it. And all of these skills help them to do that. So there are many, many, many reasons for decided to learn these skills. And then you do get the funny edge cases like the girl who's the artist as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's always interesting to talk to students and find out what the motivation is.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that we cannot deny is that tech will definitely, be so pervasive in every sector, and disruption is just gonna keep on increasing in terms of frequency and also intensity as well.
Yeah.
So, tech is programming. In fact, is one language that everybody should be picking up. I think also in like middle school, they're thinking of changing like math to programming as well for some schools in
Mm.
America. Yeah. Yeah, but I think that is all the questions that we have so far. Lee, any closing thoughts?
Well, I would like to thank you all for joining us here this evening. In terms of taking on the course with the guys at Trent, I've been working with Alex and the guys for a while. They're a fantastic team. I know that their inaugural cohort is well progressed now at this stage and is going incredibly well. I hugely encourage you to explore this further. It isn't a decision to take lightly. It takes planning. If you're thinking about taking 4 months, give it due consideration. But if you feel that you enjoy problem solving, if you feel that you have grit, resolve, if you feel that you can, work and you really enjoy that eureka moment when you've worked
Yeah.
really, really hard to get to an answer and you find the answer, coding could be something that you will really enjoy. And the experience and energy of being in the classroom with a group of other students all striving for the same goal, you'll form fantastic bonds with them. You'll have a really, really, really amazing experience. And the lads at Trent, they have set up all of these really cool pathways with the reverse career fairs and with the mentors and experts from industry that be engaging with you. So it'll be a really rich experience.
Yeah. So I can't wait to talk to you guys furthermore. Also, all of you out there. So part of the process also is that we want to get to know you better and your attitude and really your drive and passion as well. So in the coming weeks, we'll definitely be touching base with you guys, either through phone or a one-to-one coffee chat. So I think if there's any questions that you guys want to ask, you can ask me there, and I'll be more than happy to take your questions there. So okay, but I think it's been a good session, Lee. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
My pleasure.
I've learned something new from this talk as well. So yeah, we'll see you guys soon then. Okay,
Oh, take care. Thanks, guys.
thanks.